What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks, brought to you by Scores and Odds. If you haven't signed up for Scores and Odds, making bad life choices. Sign up. Just go over to Scores and Odds. Sign up for premium. I think. Oh gosh. Uh oh. I had a weird thing. I accidentally had the YouTube channel open. So yeah, got thrown off there for a second. Great start to the show. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be breaking down some of my favorite bets of the day. We're going to be keeping track of my bets that I make throughout the season on this show. We had the first day of it on Wednesday. Things did not go well. As you see, I lost 2.1K. Rough day. Payne shot 22%. Dinwiddie shot 25%. Everyone just shot terrible. It happens sometimes. Things go on. You lose money. You're not going to have a winning bet every day. But I'm joined by a special guest, hopefully a reoccurring guest here, Zach at Zachonomics, Zach Price. I hop on the Denver sports betting radio show with him generally about once a week. How are you doing over there, Zach?
Grant, it's so great to be here. I thank you again for coming on my Denver sports betting show. And thanks for pushing out my Twitter at Zachonomics. And I just want to say real quick, what Grant's got showing, that Excel spreadsheet where you track your profits and losses, you type every bet in. It's so important for serious bettors to do this, because this is how you measure yourself, is by the profit and loss. If you're just betting and then walking away from the computer, you can't really keep track of how you're doing. You think we all remember our big losses, and then we think all of our wins are like the greatest thing ever. This is the only way to do it. So even though you had a losing first night, Grant, that doesn't mean anything. We're in this for the long term, and so I'm here to help give some long-term ideas and maybe pick some winners tonight.
Yeah, no, I've got a few of my bets, but yeah, it's the biggest. Like, I went on a horrible streak in January, just the worst I've ever seen anyone have. And it's nice because looking at it, like, I see, okay, well, I'm still at a 8% ROI over the course of basketball season. So what reason do I have to be worried if I lost 20 grand this week? Like,
and you can also, Grant, you can also look back. Like, I see how you did it, similar to how I do it. You can go back and you can look at certain players and you can target, oh, I did really well on that Spencer Dinwiddie when Bradley Beal is out, or like I do really well on under assist or something. That's really important, because you can't track that with your eye, with just a gut feeling. You have to look at the data on that stuff.
Yeah. No, you gotta figure out. Like, I know that. Well, it's also funny. Like, Cade Cunningham was a guy that I was betting the over on his points, rebounds, and assists for like the first month. He was really, like, after he came back from injury, and I ended up like losing a boatload of money. But I'm looking at all the numbers. I'm like, there's no way he can shoot 25%. Like, he's far too good. Watching it, like, we knew the volume was there, and then pretty soon, like, I'm betting all the alt overs. I'm getting his number at like 15.5 points, which is just ridiculously low. And over the course of like a 2-week period, I cleared like 15 grand off of him, because I just kept with the process, kept with everything. So yeah, no, it's nice. And guys, anything you guys want to see us do on here, anything you guys want us to talk about, add to the show, anything like that, go ahead, let us know. But Zach's got some bets for you. I got some bets for you. Now that you've seen how terrible I did and what bets lost, I'm going to get rid of those. Really simple. Let's see, get rid of that, and boom. These are the bets that I currently have today. Just before the show, James Harden actually got ruled out. So I'm fairly certain 3 of these bets are now pretty much worthless. I mean, Claxton, the line's down for all the Brooklyn game. So not really going to be able to see anything of those in there. So we'll just get over to Zach's bets here. You want to just go ahead and start breaking them down? We'll start off with the Melo double-double I see you have on there in the Charlotte-Cleveland game.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm from Cleveland. You can check my bio. I'm from Ohio. The Cavs I've been on since the beginning of the year. But without Darius Garland, like, the Cavs have just, like, they really have a very, very low percentage chance to win games right now. And so, like, I like the Hornets to win this game tonight. Hornets are one of my favorite teams this year. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs, maybe win a series, but I do like them in the regular season. And my favorite player in the NBA to watch, Grant, is LaMelo Ball. The way he just dances around with that ball, it's so exciting to watch. He is such a great passer, and he flies in for those high rebounds too. He just rips them off the glass. And so I like his triple-double a lot, but he's been getting a triple-double, so that number isn't high enough for me. His double-double today is plus 225. Now, against the Cavs, I do think he's going to have an opportunity if they win this game to get that number with assists or rebounds. So, Grant, one thing I like to do when I hit the double-double market is I like to take guys who have the opportunity to not only get it on rebounds or assists, but actually could get it on either or. And so LaMelo Ball is one of those guys that I like to take his double-double when the number is good enough. And at plus 225, that's definitely good enough for me. So on Barstool, I don't know. I think I'm allowed to mention different sports books on here. On Barstool today,
Yep.
I saw it at plus 225, where the other books were all under plus 200. So I do like that number.
Yeah, no, you mentioned we're trying to make the people money, so we're not sponsored by any sports book. We're just giving you out winners over on Scores and Odds, and that's what the show is sponsored by. Next one we got Torrey Craig over 10.5 points. I'm assuming this is because half of Indy is injured. I know that he's been doing a little bit up and down recently. Go ahead and talk to me about that real quick.
Yeah, Torrey Craig is a guy. I've followed his career. He used to play here in Denver. You guys can see me. I got you can't see the number, but I got my Kenyon Martin jersey, the throwback. And so Torrey Craig is a guy that when he gets hot, he gets really hot. And so when he's cold, he's off. So it's a perfect guy to even take an alt over on. But I've noticed that he did not start the first 40 or so games of the year. And now with like Indiana just going all over the place, he's started 10 games in a row. So he's in the rotation now. He knows he's going to see the PT, and he knows he's going to be able to get shots up. He had a 0 the other night, and the bookmakers suddenly dropped their line on Craig. And then last game, he hit 5 3-pointers and scored 22 points. So his prop is 10.5. And when you're hitting 5 3-pointers in a game, you have that capability. He could have a terrible first, second, and third quarter and just like blow up in the fourth and cover that number in one quarter. I love when my guys can cover an over in a quarter. I'm going to go with Torrey Craig's over 10.5 at FanDuel. I found it at minus 110 today. That's the one I like in this game. And I do like the Pacers to cover 3.5. I see that 3.5 over at Circus Sports. Everywhere else, it's a little worse. I think it's 2.5. Bulls are on a road back-to-back. They just lost to Toronto last night. So I'm also going to go with the Pacers plus 3.5 in this game.
Nice. All right, let's move on over to Tatum, double-double over on Caesars, 250. Caesars always has great odds for that. Yeah, so, I mean, that kind of makes sense here because going up against Detroit. They're already without Cade Cunningham, so hopefully that line has not moved since then. But we look at his numbers. He's had 3 double-doubles over the last 7 games. I like that one a lot, even though there is potential for a blowout anytime. I mean, Jeremy Grant coming back is big. Siakam, me and you bet this all the time. Over 4.5 assists. I mean, anytime you got a guy playing 40 minutes every single night, as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, it's absolutely fantastic. Talk to me about the Kevin Porter Jr. bet here, over 15.5. And I see you put both Maximum Bet and FanDuel. Maximum Bet only available, I think, in Colorado.
Yeah, Grant. Maximum Bet. I went to make that bet myself after I sent it over to you, and the Maxim was already at minus 123. So scratch that. If you are in Colorado, Maxim does that great 3-point bonus where if you bet $20, and you take a player's points over or under, they'll give you $3 per 3 they make if you lose the bet. So I always try to hit that with a good 3-point shooter. But let me circle back to the Tatum double-double just for a second. When it's over plus 200, I like taking it. I've hit it. My viewers on my show have hit it a bunch. He's a great defensive rebounder. And the last game he played, he had 9 assists, Grant. So I like to catch guys who can get a double-double either way. He doesn't normally get 10 assists, but there is always that opportunity with Tatum. And with Siakam, I did want to give a little stat, if you don't mind, because you turned me on to the Siakam over assist. I wasn't noticing it. It's hard to see with the blind eye. But since the Raptors like had a terrible COVID wipeout where their entire team got wiped, they had like a whole new team of G League players. I remember betting hard against them. Since Siakam came back from that, it's been 20 games. He's only had 1 game under 4 assists, okay? So he's 19 out of 20 games. He's had 4 or more assists. His prop at Barstool tonight, or Bet Rivers, they're both the same odds it can be, is 4.5. So, I feel very confident. With a guy with assists, it's a lot about the other guys making shots. But if he's getting 4 almost every game, I love over 4.5 assists. He's averaging 6.4 a game in those last 20 games. So I love over 4.5 assists on Siakam. Thanks, Grant, for tipping me off to that. Kevin Porter Jr. Okay, so his season average is like 13-ish, but he's had 8 games in a row that he scored over 15. So his prop tonight is 15.5. I just want to read off his last. Oh my God, is it 9 games? Yeah, 9 games. I'm just going to go quickly. 18, 16, 23, 15, 17, 16, 17, 16. So almost every single game is over 15.5. The only one that wasn't, he had 15 on. It could have been a foul shot or something like that. I love it when my guys are always firing at least over that number, just like Siakam, or right underneath it, especially on the offensive end. It all comes down to a bounce here, a foul call there. I'm going to roll with the odds. Go over Kevin Porter Jr. minus 110 on FanDuel. Grant, you were alerting me yesterday to the injuries on the Spurs. What do you know about that? Is Pirtle and Murray out again? Because if they're out, especially Murray, if Murray's out, I really like the Porter Jr. over.
Yeah, so I think as of right now, everyone's projected to be in, but it's Pop. You never know. You never know. And I mean, the line's currently sitting at, let's see,
5.
only at 4.5. Yeah, 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Yeah, so like you never know. It's Pop. Like I don't think he's given out an injury report yet.
He could limit minutes to 20 and not alert anyone. But yeah, I like the Porter. Look, he's just shooting the ball right now. Jalen Green's in there starting. Like the Rockets are already on to the lottery basically. So Kevin Porter Jr. is a free reign to do what he needs to do.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over to a few of my picks, get your thoughts on it. Gary Trent Jr. over 17.5 points. I mean, he's been putting up 30 on a consistent basis. Had one bad night last night. The line dropped from 19.5 to 17.5. I think that it's just a spot where like the line's far too low. You can get over to MGM at minus 120. Royce O'Neal under 7.5 points. Donovan Mitchell's coming back. They've been just hampered by injuries over and over again. And like Clarkson may or may not play. Gay is currently questionable. Whiteside's questionable, but I don't really care. Like O'Neal's a 8% usage guy, like just bottom usage, and he averages I think 7.5 points. You're getting at plus 108 odds. Powell over 18.5 points. You disagree with any of those?
Okay, so Gary Trent, you came on my show, Grant, and gave his over on Tuesday. It was like 19.5, and he had 30-something. My guys were following you and hit the alt over on him. I saw a couple guys go 25 over Gary Trent and hit it. We gave it again on Thursday. Last night. It didn't hit, but he's a gunner. And so even on a back-to-back, for him to get 18 points, I do think the value is always going to be on the over with Gary Trent again. Let me look at that other one. Oh, Royce O'Neal. Yeah. So Royce O'Neal is a guy, and I would never give this prop out on a show where a lot of, like regular bettors are betting. Not everyone's like a pro better, but Royce O'Neal, I used to always go for his under 3-pointers made. I would go for his under turnovers made, Grant. His under turnovers, because he's just not part of the offense, really. He's there to grab rebounds and play defense and be a role player. And so with role players, I love going under. So if he hits a couple of 3-pointers, he's still only sitting at 6, and you got his under 7.5. So I do agree with that, especially at plus money. I would not shy away from that. And then the other one was Powell. Yeah. So Powell he can catch fire from 3-point range. I don't like going under on a guy who can catch fire from 3-point range and who's playing for a team like Portland is struggling. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. He's almost playing for like contracts. And Powell, like, over points or over 3-pointers made, I think is always like something you need to look at as you're betting on the Blazers.
Yeah. I've got a few other ones. We'll ignore the Claxton unders. I'm guessing it's going to shoot up a little bit without Harden in there. But Kyrie, his point still is probably going to go to 28.
Yeah, that one he's 30 is like a good bet. And Grant, real quick on that Portland game. I like the CJ over in that game along with your Norman Powell. So like if you can, these guys are just gunning threes. The Blazers
you want the CJ over 2.5 3-point. I was hitting that every single game earlier on this season, and I probably should go back to it. I mean, he's been chucking all season long.
Bring up his game log. You'll realize that even like when he doesn't get it, he's like 2 for 7. So like I can live with that. Without Damian Lillard, and I've done this throughout the years with CJ McCollum because he's played with Lillard 9 straight years. Believe it or not, those two have been in the Portland backcourt for 9 straight years. And so it's almost understood when either one of them goes out, the other one's going to just ball handle and chuck the three and take care of assists and rebounds. I looked at his points, rebounds, assists tonight, and I just decided that over 2.5 3-pointers is where I wanted to go. I put a little bit on the over 21.5. And real quick, shout out to my dude man PA, who's also tailing that 2.5 3-pointers. We've been hitting that almost nightly, Grant. When I watched the NFL championship games, the conference championship games with you, I was watching Burrow come back against KC, but on my phone, I was looking at the CJ over 2.5 3-pointers.
Yeah. No, I'm probably gonna, after the show, bet pretty much all these. Harden obviously not going with that. You put the Embiid over 31.5 boards. I think you meant points on that one.
Yeah. Well, yes, I meant points, and I'm this is what I'm doing. So I'm not afraid to admit when I lose, and I know neither are you, Grant. It's part of the game. And in my career as a bettor, especially an NBA prop bettor, I've lost the Embiid taking him his under way too many times. Even when the number is really high, I'm like, oh, it's time to go under an Embiid. It almost never works out for me. He almost always snags it in the fourth quarter when I least expect it. He did it in the playoffs to me all the time. This is going to be a close game. So, you don't want to just look at the prop number, guys. You want to look at the spread on the game. So Philly at Dallas is a 2-point spread. I actually like Dallas at home a little bit tonight, but that tells you that the game should be close. We probably won't see a blowout. And if Philly is on the blowout end winning, it's going to be because Embiid is scoring a ton. I don't need to bring up his game log. Everybody knows what he's been doing. He's the leader for the MVP right now, and he was 50-1 like 3 weeks ago. He put up 40, 50, 37s, and 8s, and his prop is 31.5. He had a string of 31s. Again, if I'm losing by a half point, I'm okay with that because I know it might just come down to like a tip ball or back of the iron. I'm going to roll with Embiid's over probably through the end of the season as he does go for that MVP. And we'll see what they do about Ben Simmons at the trade deadline. We'll adjust our strategy at that point.
Yeah, and obviously Magic versus Dallas is a pretty solid overall one. I hit him like 7 straight games, I think, and like I've gone off like the last 3. I haven't been betting it, but prior to that, he hit like every single time. And my favorite one was when he was going off that streak of 31 points.
Yeah.
The line was always coming out at 30.5. Occasionally it would go over 31.5. I'd be like, nope, I'm just going to wait. And as soon as I find somewhere that's 30.5, immediately hit it. It worked out beautifully. Not that it's the best strategy in the world, just because like it's an aberration that he hit 5 straight games with exactly 31. But, sometimes that just happens. Let's look at a few more of my bets. A good bet, Trey Mann, over 13.5 points. Obviously, SGA out. He's going to be in there for a decent amount of usage. Going to play a lot of minutes if that game ends up staying close, and maybe even if it doesn't. That's a solid bet. But my favorite bet on the board is Miles Bridges under 3.5 assists over on Caesars. We have a model going over at Scores and Odds, and we post a lot of picks from it. Like generally, we post more later on in the day. It's going to get updated hopefully during the show. Then I think I could show off some of the best bets. But looking at his game log, 0 assists, 2 assists, 6 assists, 1 assist, 3 assists, 0 assists over the last 6 games. Like with LaMelo in the offense, he doesn't really need to pass the ball that much. And he's averaging, take away that 6-point game or 6 assist game, he's averaging well under 2 during that time frame. So even at minus 160 juice, I know a lot of people like to stay away from those, but it's just free money. He has like a 75% projected hit rate, and the break even on minus 160 is like what, 58, 59%. So it's huge projected value.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the minus 160s, the minus 180s. It's a lot of times those are the ones that are actually the biggest locks. And so, I would never call this a lock, but Grant, something I've noticed, and I know you and I have been gotten a real big tweet discussion with a bunch of other people about most improved player, about John Morant, who's going to win it. So Miles Bridges is the second favorite right now. I don't think John Morant's going to win the most improved player. As a side note, I think he's clearly going for the MVP and might even win the MVP if he keeps up Memphis. But Miles Bridges is the second favorite on most improved. And one of my closest confidants in the NBA, who's been monitoring these awards for years, actually decades. He's been monitoring the NBA for older than I'm alive, and I have gray hair on my beard, if that tells you anything. They told me that Miles Bridges is shooting worse than he was last year with field goal percentage and free throw percentage. His volume is going up. And I went to that Nuggets Hornets game. The Hornets wiped the floor with our Nuggets, and Miles Bridges was just down low, putting up shots, bank shots, shooting the ball. You'll see his field goals. I think the other night, even his last game, even Grant, I don't have it up. You do. He was just like a terrible field goal percentage. So why would I bring this? Yeah, why am I bringing this up on an assist prop? It's because he doesn't look to pass. When he gets the ball, he's looking to do one thing, and that's shoot the ball on a double team, triple team. It doesn't matter. LaMelo Ball is the guy who's not looking to score. He's looking to distribute. So Miles Bridges under assist. It's one of those stats that I don't know off the top of my head because it's hard to keep track of a 3 assist or a 2 assist night. But watching the game and having a feel for the game, knowing the other players on the team, knowing about his field goals attempts going up this year, that all equals to under assist. So if it's minus 160 and it's a 75% hit rate, that's a great ROI on a prop against the Cavs, where I think he's going to have some tall timber down there. He's going to be fighting all game long. He's going to be a big piece of this tonight, so he's going to be shooting a lot.
Yeah, and then I just want to highlight real quick. I'm just throwing boosts in here just to help out the people on Caesars. Yeah. I found 4 of them. I don't know MMA well. Basically, what I do is all I'm looking at is other sports books and seeing what the projected break-even odds are. And for this one, I think the projected one was 580. For this one, the projected one was 605. For this one, it was 700. For this one, it was 780. So you're just cross-referencing odds throughout other ones, because sometimes Caesars puts out odds boosts that are just absolutely atrocious. The real odds on other sites are actually 100 points higher, so you're getting an actual downgrade. But I go and I double check all of them, even if I don't bet them, just to kind of give them out to people I know who want a long shot. So these are all plus 625, plus 650, plus 750, plus 850. So the Colorado State, Ball State, Fresno State, Hornets, Celtics, Pacers, and Hawks is another one. And then these 2 MMA ones. I think they're MMA. I believe they're MMA. I don't know.
Is that Jokic number? Sorry to interrupt you, Grant. I think I'm seeing things. Is that Jokic under assist? Is that 9.5 is his assist prop tonight?
Yeah. So it's wild to me. I generally don't like betting the under, but every once in a while he'll go on a little stretch where he's doing much better than normal. And anytime it gets up to 9.5, that's the number where I pounce every time, because yes, he can get a triple double.
Yeah, he started the year, and I'm a close Jokic watcher because he's the biggest stat producer in the NBA. And he started the year way, way low on assists. I was losing overs on his assists. They were going to 7.5, even 6.5, and he was staying in under. I don't know if you could bring up his first early games, but he was way under. And now he's gone over. But that's what I like to see, is when the sports books overreact. So he had 9 assists the other day. It might have even been during the NFL championship games, where he had 9 assists in the first quarter, or early in the first half. And so the bookmakers' computers get a little wonky. You're basically betting Jokic will have over 10 rebounds tonight. So you're basically saying the yes/no on the triple double is minus 105. The no is minus 105 for him to get under assists. I love that bet. I might have to bet that myself. I don't like betting against Jokic. I do love betting unders though. And I don't mind if I lose those. I'm going to go Jokic under on that. And if you don't mind me bringing up my prop in that game, Grant, Valanciunas double-double. Speaking of minus 160s and minus 180s, I have Valanciunas as getting a double-double. Well, he's had 33 out of 45 games as a double-double, and he averages 12 rebounds a game. So I know he's going to get the points. Out of the 12 games he has not gotten a double-double, 4 of them he had 9 rebounds on. Okay, so it's a matter of a tip ball and he gets that double-double, and then a couple others were 8. So I've watched this guy when he was on Memphis just go on absolute tears on the rebounding end, where he's getting 15 to 18. His prop is 13.5. So this is basically saying 9.5 over under rebounds on Valanciunas, minus 179 at Caesars. I go over that every single time. He's playing against Jokic. I actually think that helps him because they're going to need him all game long. If they're going to win this game, he's going to have to be fighting down there. I love the Valanciunas double-double tonight. It's my favorite bet of the night.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to round out my last two picks. Then we're going to check. It looks like the prop model got updated, and it gets updated throughout the day. Thibault under 5.5 points. Eric Gordon over 2.5 rebounds at plus 130. I think both of those are pretty solid overall. But let's go to this. All right, so right now just got updated. So let's see, Claxton under 7.5 rebounds. I don't know if that's on the board. If it goes back on the board, that's one I obviously already bet. That's the top overall one. I know Harden being in there kind of changes things around a little bit. But if it goes back on the board, which I think it will, and I don't think it's going to change much, that's offering a ton of positive value. This one's interesting. The Jeremy Grant lines weren't up because they were waiting on the Cunningham news. Oh, gosh. Oh, well, ignore my Norman Powell. Norman Powell and Covington just got traded to the Clippers. The Blazers got Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a second-round pick. Wow.
Bledsoe to the Blazers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, wow. Breaking news. We got the Harden injury. And we got the trade news. I didn't see that. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's wild. But yeah, like looking at these, Trey Mann over 2.5 rebounds, popping a lot. Duarte over 1.5 3-pointers. Looks like Kyrie Irving, you can still get him at around 25, 4.5, 25.5. That doesn't seem right, but it may just be down and going off of old odds.
Yeah.
Bridges, as you can see, Thibault, Jokic, all these ones are some of the best ones. But I'm definitely hitting the under of 2.5 assists on Grant. I mean, he's even without Cunningham in there, he's just likely to shoot quite a bit. Looking at his numbers, one assist in his 2 games back, 2, 3, 5, 3, 3. So he was hitting it at a decent clip beforehand. His minutes got up to 31 last night. Always the possibility of a blowout, but if the model says it really likes it, then I think there's some plus odds on it. So I don't see the odds here. And as you can see, the bets that it's had over the last few days all have shown out really well. And then if you want more of them, then generally they'll be posted on the Scores and Odds pick page later on in the day, generally around 4, because they get more accurate throughout the day. I just wanted to show you where it's at early on in the day, and generally any of them that I really like, I'll hit, which I'm probably hitting this Duarte one, and I'm hitting this Jeremy Grant under here. Let's see. Anything else? I don't know. Don't see any questions in here. You got anything else you want to plug?
My only other prop, Grant, was the Harden double-double. He's out tonight, but I guess I should just tell the viewers. Harden's double-double was minus 180 today, minus 185 at some of the bigger books that everybody has, DraftKings and Caesars. Now, he's out, but his last 11 games, he's had 12, 16. These are his assist numbers: 12, 16, 9, 15, 10, 9, 11, 13, 11, 10, 12. So 9 out of those 11 games, he's gone over 10 assists, and the 2 he didn't, he had 9 assists. So I want everybody to always check that Harden double-double right now. And if it's like under minus 250, you got to hit it, I think. Something I wasn't betting this whole time, but as I looked through the props today, I like that. He's out tonight. With Harden out tonight, I want everyone to check the Patty Mills over points. One of my followers, Professor Stink, tipped me off to this one. When Harden is out, the Patty Mills over should be like 16 or 17. And it started the day at 13.5. So we'll see where that one goes.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, at least up on the DK Sportsbook. I'll check others after this. But no, Harden, like as soon as like Durant was out, like anytime Kyrie's in the game, Harden just kind of actually tries, like he lets Kyrie do what Kyrie wants to do. Like he's passing the ball to him often. Like he's more of a distributor instead of the James Harden of old, where it's just, I'm going to shoot the ball 40 times in a game. Zach, really appreciate you coming on. Again, guys, if you want to give him a follow at Zachonomics, anything that you want, Win might still have props up for something. I just got a message in Slack. Win still has props on CJ and Simon. So I'm going to get out of here. Go check out WinBet and get those bets up there. I'm doing it now. But Zach, really appreciate it. Hope to have you on again next week. We'll see what the schedule looks like. But pleasure as always.
Yeah, pleasure as always too, Grant. Really appreciate it. Scores and Odds model looks awesome. I'm gonna have to get on that like immediately. I always ask you for the odds, but that looks amazing. Now that you showed me like a live demo, I'm on that thing.
Yeah, we'll have it up on the website soon. But guys, it's been fun. We'll be back again on Monday. I'm out of here. See you, kids.
Bye.